Hello everyone, a very good morning to all. So with this video, we are starting with our third unit, that is P block elements, part 1. So in the part 1 of this P block elements, so we'll be discussing about group 13 and group 14 elements. Group 13 elements are the boron family and group 14 elements are the carbon family. We'll be starting with group 13 elements. So these are the members of group 13. Here are the names, that is boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium, and nihonium. Symbols are B for boron, aluminium, Al. Then for gallium, it is Ga, In for indium, Tl for thallium, and H for nihonium. Their atomic numbers have been written here and the corresponding electronic configuration. Electronic configuration for group 13 elements is Ns2 and P1. As we all know that in case of P block elements, there is a filling of P subshell. P subshell is having the electron capacity of 6 electrons each. So in group 13, there is 1 electron. Then group 14, it is having 2 electrons in p orbitals. And then for 15, it is 3. For 16, it is 4. For 17, it is 5. And then for 18, the p subshell is full. That is 6 electrons are there for noble gases. Group 18 are the noble gases. Noble gases you have already covered in your last semester. In this particular semester, will be discussing about these 5 groups, first 2 in the first unit and next 3 in the next unit, last unit of your syllabus, that is unit 4. So here I have given the mnemonics to memorize these elements. It is bangan, aloo, gajar in thali nahi. So this way you can memorize the sequence. B for bangan, Al for aloo, gajar, Ga, then it is in for indium, and Tl thela for thali, and nihonium for nahi. So now let us discuss the properties of the group 13 elements. Here are firstly, these are the atomic radii which I have written here. The units are picometer. So as we can see that as we move down the group, there is an introduction of new shell. So atomic radii down the group increases for all the elements. But here, as we can see that for gallium, there is a decrease in the atomic radii, and for thallium, not much increase is there. The atomic radii for indium and thallium is very comparable. It is 167 picometer for indium and 170 picometer for thallium. So why is it is so, and what is the reason behind this? The reason behind the decrease in atomic radii while we go from aluminium to gallium is due to the introduction of d orbitals. There is a filled d subshell. As d subshell is having the electrons present in the d subshell are having poor screening effect. They do not screen the nuclear charge effectively. So there is an increased nuclear pull for electrons present outside to that of d subshell. So due to this, as there is an increased nuclear charge and there is an increased nuclear pull due to poor shielding of poor penetration of d orbitals, the electrons present in d orbitals. So that is why the atomic radii decreases for gallium, because there is an introduction of d subshell for gallium. Then further indium is there, and as for indium also there are 4d subshell is present there for indium. This is the electronic configuration. It is mentioned here. For gallium it is 3d subshell, and for indium it is 4d subshell. But for indium, increase is there but not much increase is there. As we can see that if we move from boron to aluminium, there is an increase of around 60 units, but as we move from gallium to indium, there is an increase of around 30 units. So this is why this small decrease, is less increase in radii is due to the presence of d orbitals now. And for thallium, further there are f orbitals which are having further poorer shielding in comparison to the d subshell or the d electrons. So that is why not much increase in atomic radii is there from as we move from indium to thallium. So the poor screening of d and f orbitals is the reason behind this exceptionally low atomic radii for gallium and almost comparable atomic radii for thallium in comparison to that of indium. Next, we will compare the ionic radii. We'll see that ionic radii here, the ionic radii for the +3 oxidation states, +3 cations of these elements have been mentioned. From ionic radii, if you look carefully at the ionic radii, we can see that the ionic radii are increasing as we move down the group. Here, the effect of the poor shielding of d orbitals or the poor screening of f orbital electron is not there, because the outermost shell on which the effect of poorer shielding was there are now lost in the form of ions, as the charge is 3 positive. So the outermost shell, that is where the Ns2 and Np1 electrons are present, are already lost, and no effective nuclear charge is felt on these electrons. Now the outermost shells which are present are the D and the F subshell, where for the case of gallium and thallium respectively. So that is why there is no exception in the ionic radii, and ionic radii is increasing as we are moving down the group. Next, we have melting points and boiling points. So melting points and boiling points in general decrease as we move down the group for these elements, for the group 13 elements. If we look carefully, boron is having exceptionally high melting points and boiling points. This is because the structure of boron is kind of an icosahedral structure it is having, which is having 12 corners and 20 faces. So this structure is very tightly bonded. It is having covalent bonding in its structure, so which is very high in comparison to that of metallic bonding, which is present in other group members. So that is why the boiling points and melting points are high in case of boron, exceptionally high in case of boron. And in general, if we see for other elements, as we move down the group, the van der Waals forces are there in between different elements. Then when there is increase in size, van der Waals forces increase, and melting points are generally increasing down the group for different element. But here the bonding type is the metallic bonding, and for boron it is covalent bonding. So that is why it is different from the van der Waals forces. And also we know that van der Waals forces are very weak in comparison to that of metallic bonding, and when metallic bonding is there, we cannot talk about the van der Waals forces. So the extent of metallic bonding is decreasing as we move down the group. This decreases because there is an increase in size as we move down the group. So this increase in size as we move down the group is the reason behind the behind the decrease of strength of metallic bonding. So that is why melting points and boiling points are decreasing down the group. And if we carefully look at gallium, it is having exceptionally low melting point and normal boiling point. So the reason for exceptionally low melting point for gallium is that it exists as gallium 2, that is Ga2. It is a kind of it exists as non-metallic molecule which is self-satisfied in itself as Ga2. So it doesn't participate much in metallic bonding. So that is why the bonds are very weak. It exists as Ga2. It behaves as different biatomic molecule, diatomic molecule. That is why its melting point is quite low. Also, if we see in the periodic table, this element gallium is the only element which is having highest liquid range for this, because its melting point is quite low and its boiling point is quite high. So it is having highest liquid range in the periodic table, and based upon that, it has diverse applications based upon this property. So next we have ionization energies. Here we have written the ionization energies, all the three ionization energies, that is ionization energy 1, 2, and 3 for all the elements, group 13 elements. So here we can see that for all the three ionization energies, if we compare three ionization energy for different elements, we can see that successive ionization energies are greater in comparison to the previous ones. So this is a general rule. This is applicable on all the elements of the periodic table, that successive ionization energies are always greater in comparison to the previous ones. For the first ionization energy, this p electron is being lost. For the second ionization energy, there is already a plus positive charge on the cation on the atom. That is already a cation. So it is definitely be difficult for removing an electron from the. It must require high amount of energy for removing an electron from a species which is already positively charged. So further now, for the third electron to be removed, there is these are the cations are already divalent. So it is further more difficult in comparison to the previous case. So that is why the successive ionization energies are always greater. And if we see for gallium, there is small increase in exceptional increase in the ionization energies. If we move down the group, in general, the ionization energies decrease. But if we compare aluminium and gallium, there is an increase in ionization energy for gallium. The reason here is the same that we discussed, that there are d electrons are present, and due to those d electrons, there is poorer shielding, which increases the nuclear pull and which holds the outermost valence electrons tightly in comparison to that of aluminium due to the poor screening of d orbitals. And for the case of thallium, it is poorer screening of 4f subshell, the electrons present in 4f subshell, as shown as depicted from the electronic configuration here. So these are the two reasons for these trends in the ionization energies. So next we will be discussing the oxidation states, different oxidation states for the group 13 elements. The common oxidation state for group 13 elements is +3, and as we move down the group, the +3 oxidation state becomes less and less stable, and +1 becomes more and more stable. So the reason behind this is the inert pair effect. What is inert pair effect? The inert pair effect is the reluctance of Ns2 electrons to take part in chemical combination, because they start behaving as noble gases as we move down the group. So these elements, the lower three members exhibit +1 oxidation state, preferably in comparison to the +3 oxidation state. Also, the ionization energies are high, and these elements are their electropositive character is low, but it increases down the group. So is the metallic character. So the metallic character is increasing down the group. We can say the first two members, or the first member is a non-metal, the second member is an amphoteric compound, that is aluminium, and the lower three members are metals. When we talk about boron itself, it is having high tendency to form covalent compounds because it is having very small size and high charge, that is 3 positive. So it will be having very high polarizing power, and so more the polarizing power, more is the covalent character. So that is why boron forms covalent compounds. And aluminium forms, next is aluminium, which form both ionic and covalent compounds. Example for the covalent compound for aluminium is AlCl3, and for the ionic compound of aluminium, it is hexahydrated complex of aluminium, which is trivalent aluminium. Also, there is an ionic compound for gallium, which seems to have +2 oxidation state, but here we have seen that there is the +2 oxidation state is not visible for these elements, but from this compound, which is very stable, which is well known, so it seems to have, it is having +2 oxidation state if we look at the formula. But the actual structure for GaCl2 is this. This is an ionic structure. If we double the formula, the actual structure becomes this, that is Ga positive and GaCl4 whole negative. So here two galliums are present. One is in +1 oxidation state and one is in +3 oxidation state, which average out the oxidation state to be +2. But the actual scenario is this, that one gallium is in +1 oxidation state and two other gallium is in +3 oxidation state. And all the lower members prefer to form the ionic compound. Boron forms the covalent compounds, aluminium form both type of compounds, covalent as well as ionic, and the lower members, that is gallium, indium, and thallium, these form ionic compound. And this GaCl2 type structure also exists for indium and thallium. So the structure is same, that is there is one of the group 13 element is present in +1 oxidation state and the other one is in +3 oxidation state. So that is it for this video. In the next video, we'll be starting with the compounds of group 13, where we'll be starting with hydrides. So thank you so much. Have a good rest of the day.